I would like to call the meeting to order at 6:02 PM on April 1st, 2019. First order of business is we need to do the school choice public hearing before our regular meeting. So I don't see anybody in the audience that wants to participate in the school choice public hearing, but every year we take a vote on whether or not Halifax is going to participate in school choice, and every year it seems to go the same way. So if anybody wants to make a motion in either direction, I'm open to it.
Make a motion not to do school choice for the upcoming school year.
Okay? Second. Okay, any discussion?
If I may, Kane, can you give us an idea of incoming kindergarten students?
We are at 68 right now.
Perfect.
Which is kind of where we are.
Yeah.
We have our kindergarten open house on April 10th. So that usually is when that sparks a lot of
Registration?
Okay. So we have the orientation night, and then on the 11th, it opens up for scheduling for screening, and then we screen the first 2 Mondays in May. So that's when we'll have a better idea. But that number is actually pretty solid.
Excellent.
From being like relatively close?
We have 81 kindergartners this year, so I'm guessing being at 68 right now is a pretty decent number.
Right.
So if I had to guess, I'm guessing that number would be over 80.
All right, we have a motion and a second. You all set?
That's it? I just
Okay.
want to clarify what the committee vote, kindergarten numbers were.
Okay, awesome. All those in favor of Halifax not? Oh, are you voting or you have a
Yeah.
question? Okay. All those in favor of Halifax not participating in school choice? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Did you vote? Are you abstaining? Okay. 401. Bob abstain.
Okay.
All right.
So we can close the public budget hearing?
Yes, close the public budget hearing at this time. Do we need a motion to do that?
It
or-
doesn't hurt.
Okay, so.
So moved.
All those in favor of closing the public budget hearing? Aye. We will now open our regular public school committee meeting. Okay, anybody in the audience like to be acknowledged or scheduled at this time? Seeing no one. We have beautiful minutes typed up by our lovely committee
There were other
clerk.
people that helped.
We all tried, but we were so.
Group effort.
I was so impressed that he did them.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes from March 4th.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Warrants are circulating. School committee correspondence and reports. I don't have anything. Anybody else?
I have things come under me, so we can talk about
Okay.
this.
Yep. Unfinished business, bus discussion. Anybody have any input on the bus discussion? We're going to talk a little bit about it when we talk about the budget. I don't know if you want to hold off on waiting till then. Okay. Anybody have any new business they'd like to discuss right now? Anything they want to discuss next time? Moving along. All right. Subcommittees. Policy is first. We met, we went over a couple of these policies that we had to kind of clean up a little bit. You want to talk about that at all, Joy, or?
Sure, and Jill can weigh in if she has any interest. So 3 of the committee, last round of the policy subcommittee, we added and approved the McKinney-Bento homeless, the educational opportunities for military children, and education opportunities for children in foster care. They were new policies from MASC. What happened was MASC developed these policies, but the Department of elementary education had a different idea of what was needed in the policies. So the Department of Education did not approve when we had our program review. They came in and said, no, these policies don't meet what we're looking for. So Jill worked on combining what was required from the Department of Education along with what MASC gave us. It was reviewed by Fred, our legal counsel, and these are the policies that we brought before you. We are required to update and to meet the Department of Education guidelines. The other policy is the wellness policy, and if you remember when we updated it last month, we talked about there being a policy about any advertising in the schools that it has to meet and it has to be on the John Stalker list. The concern was at the high school level and our secondary level on Sirico Field, we're interested in getting a new scoreboard which would have an electronic sign, and the electronic sign would have advertising, and hopefully it would not only pay for itself but hopefully provide some income for some of our sports teams up there. The concern was Dunkin' Donuts, for instance, has paid for another scoreboard over towards our lacrosse fields. Dunkin' Donuts is not on the John Stalker list. However, when we looked at it closer, when we looked at surrounding districts, what is actually in the policy is during the school day, it can't be a fixed sign. What we have is already grandfathered in. So if Dunkin' Donuts were interested in supporting us, that sign would only be turned on in the evening, which is after the school days. So it still would allow us to make use of maybe some surrounding popular businesses that may be supportive of us, provide some income, but not go against the policy. So we were sort of on hold until we sort of broke the code of what was going on with that, and we finally did. So those are the 4 policies before you.
Okay.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think you said it all. Everybody understand the scoreboard thing? Okay.
So just for anyone who doesn't know, in terms of policies, what happens is there's a policy subcommittee which has members of all 4 school committee members on it. They review the policies. Normally what we do is when we have the meeting is I highlight what has been added to the old policies. So it's a pretty easy read, so you don't have to sort of go back and forth. It makes the policy subcommittee members' life a little easier. They then review it. They then make recommendations for the school committee. The first reading of a policy is actually in our policy manual of how policies are approved, and that's just getting it out there. We always waive the actual reading. Otherwise, we would be sitting here for a lengthy period of time. And then we approve the first reading. Any time between the first and second reading, any questions, any concerns you have, just reach out to your committee member or to myself, and we can answer them. After the second reading of all 4 committees, it then becomes an official policy.
Okay, so we need a motion to waive the actual reading, but approve the first reading.
Perfect. Nice, Allison. I can see it coming.
We're all looking at her.
Yeah.
All right, so should I make the motion then?
Yes.
Okay. Make a motion that we waive the actual reading and accept the first reading of policies ADF, JFABD, JFABE, and JFABF.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstention?
Thank you.
Okay.
That was much easier than last time, you have to admit.
Way better. Yeah.
I think it was 112 by the time we were done. It was absurd. It was really painful.
Okay, negotiations have not met. PAC, did you meet?
They had canceled last month's meeting, but we have a meeting this Thursday.
Okay.
And I did want to just let you know, we did get a letter officially confirming they will not be renewing that space.
Youth and Rec is me. Basketball's over. It was a great success. We talked about the gym floors last time. They look fantastic. On April 6th, which is the Saturday, they're doing the egg hunt outside and in the gym, rain or shine, 4,000 eggs. Kids go nuts. People, if like the older kids want to volunteer, feel free to give Mr. Steele a call. His information is on the website or on Facebook, you know, just to help with the little ones. The after-school programs are thriving, fantastic. He really wanted to make sure I emphasize that he's grateful for the help that he's getting from the staff here at HES and the teachers in the building. It's just making the program a great success, and everybody seems to be on board with it. It's working out great. Kids love it. Teachers are having a good time. Everybody's working together to use space, the gym, etc. This summer, he mentioned that with the renovations going on in the building, a couple of their programs are going to be housed elsewhere. So the basketball camp that usually takes place here in the elementary school is going to take place at Dennett this summer. And the town is allowing the youth and rec to use the town hall, I'm assuming the Great Hall, for the summer art program. So whatever programs we had going on in this building are being relocated. But again, you can find more information on all that on the website. That's all I have from Mr. Steele. PTO.
PTO was a day meeting I wasn't able to attend, but Boosterthon raised just shy of $24,000, which is great. The Square One Art, which has been ongoing, the deadline for submissions is this Thursday, the 4th. The book fair took place the week of conferences from the 18th to the 22nd of March. They always need volunteers. They were at risk of shutting down the book fair at one point because they were having a hard time filling slots.
Somebody saved the day. It was me.
Allison saved
Yay!
Next meeting is a night meeting, April 24th at 6:30.
And I received a thank you card from Mrs. Debo, the librarian, for that, so that was super nice. She didn't have to do that. That was really nice.
she's great.
That was so nice of her, so, yeah, I'm sure all the people that volunteered received them, so.
Maybe not, you just totally. I'm just kidding. Capital budget, do we want to talk about
We
this?
can, whenever you want, sure.
Might as well talk about it now.
Perfect.
Do you want to take the reins, or Mr. Beaudry, do you want
I'll
to talk
pass
about it?
I'll just do a little introduction. So
Okay.
one of the things that we've maintained here in Halifax is the capital plan that was done. So Kane went through with Brian and Matt, and they updated the capital plan, which was one of the things the town had asked us to do to sort of keep an eye on what is being done. So Kane and Brian and Matt did a great job of just sort of updating it. So now we have a little bit more information. The thing that I really like about it also is it also says what has been done, the completed projects. So it's really, I think I just wanted to commend him and Brian and Matt for doing such a nice job with it. So I don't know if
Has this been sent across the street yet? Or?
No, I would never do that without your approval first.
Okay,
It is
They have
your
our old
building.
version.
Yes,
okay.
2016,
yeah,
when we first started.
yeah. So,
And I had to slow Matt down.
yeah.
Matt
Oh my
was
gosh.
going on to the next page. Sorry.
So again, I don't know if there's anything on here that was a question or a concern. As I said, this was just give you an opportunity to let you know where we're at in terms of some of the projects that we're doing. One of the things that we did do was the cafeteria HVAC unit. That's a high concern. That's the one that's in the cafeteria that there's concerns about how it's working. We got one idea, which was what we were going on. We've had a couple of other vendors come in. We're sort of evaluating what will be the best new system to put in. Under Christine, she'll talk about, she did put in a warrant article to move the vocational money that is left to hopefully cover that. So I don't know if that will go through the town or not, but that's something that is considered a high priority at this point.
Okay.
Motion to approve the plan.
The only thing I just wanted to point out was that I haven't seen, so in the top of page 2, for 2019-2020, the kitchen flooring. I know, excuse me.
Medium.
Yeah, it's a medium.
It should probably be
It
high.
should probably be a high priority.
Yeah, I would agree.
We've been on the record with the health agent now. So, I mean, I know it's just kind of semantics, but
Yeah, it's a good catch, Alex.
that was,
There's two parts to that though, and there's one where it's inside the refrigerator is immediate.
Yep.
Which is being taken care of. I don't know, because this is like the main areas, and I don't think, we didn't get cited on main areas in there, but it was definitely the one that was in the refrigerator area that had to be replaced, which is immediate.
okay.
We're taking that out of the regular budget, yes.
Okay.
Do you want to keep it at medium, or do you think it should go up to high?
I just wanted to clarify that
Right.
between the
Okay.
two, because I think sometimes when I've had conversations with people, that they've kind of mixed the two together, but the inside of refrigeration unit was definitely the one that they wanted us to replace.
So, and that's being done
Yeah.
okay.
That's
So,
like whatever that diamond plate is.
Diamond plate. Yep,
yeah,
nailed it.
yeah.
And as you can see, like, as we push into 2020 and 2021, there's things that you want to focus on. It's empty right now, but
Poster machine.
Nice. I like poking the bear. Well done, Alex. That was really good.
But, yeah, let us know if there's
Right.
anything in particular, but we tried to put something in there for 1920 for the lower lot, which is an area where parent pickup and drop off is, it's kind of a mess, and then playground, it could kind of need some love. That's one of our biggest things for next year.
So when they worked on it, we haven't gone out too far yet. You know, as I said, this is sort of ongoing, and Matt would have no trouble, I'm quite sure, going out probably for the next 10 years. But, you know, at least this is something that, you know, I asked him to have it ready for tonight, so, you know, I was pleased we got this far.
Yeah. Thank you for putting this together. I appreciate it. Do we need a motion to approve it, or?
I don't think it's necessary.
Send it across the street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm all in
Would you-
favor of
Okay.
open lines of communication
Okay.
with them, so they have an idea of what we're looking at moving forward.
Okay.
Formal motion for that?
Well, Gordon made one, so,
Oh, second. I didn't realize you did, I'm sorry.
okay, all those in favor of sharing the capital plan with those that live across the way? Aye. Okay, good.
We'll make sure that gets over there.
Okay. Admin review, so as you guys know, we had till like the end of March to fill out our evaluations. They bumped the date up till today, I think. Give people a little extra time. I don't know if folks got a chance to turn that in or not. I know some of us did, not sure about all of us, but they're going over it tonight.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not invited.
okay.
I'm with you.
Well, they are going over it tonight.
Okay.
To my knowledge. And they put all the data together, compile it, and present it on, it looks like we have a meeting on April 11th.
That's when the results are presented, yes.
Okay. Do you know what time that meeting is?
5:30, it's the joint meeting?
Oh, okay. Let's see if I have it in my calendar.
We talked about it last.
I'm sure we did, but if it's not in my calendar, then it doesn't happen in my life.
Yeah. It's on the
Constant
11th
digital
at
reminder,
5:30.
and it's not in mine, so, okay.
Okay, 5:30,
At 5
please.
o'clock, so, sorry.
Where is it?
High school. It says
High
right
school?
there, right under it.
Right
High
next to
school, middle school?
It's high school.
Oh,
High school.
my paper was covering it.
Open your eyes.
I didn't see it. Okay. So, whatever, guys. It's Union 31, we have a meeting at 5:30 on April 11th
Here we go.
at the high school.
At the high school, there we go.
All right, Mr. Beaudry, we're cruising right along here. You're up.
I like it.
Start passing around.
We are currently at 610 students. We actually have had some students move in and out, but they're still steady at 610. Our MCAS calendar, we are continuing with that. After the April vacation, so that Tuesday is the day that we kick off for this. We're doing infrastructure trials that start tomorrow in the grade levels, just so we make sure that all the tech is set up. We make sure that our small groups are good to go, so that begins tomorrow for us. So it's just kind of a dry run. So we're good to go on that. As Alex had said, Booster-thon, PTO was a great success, right around 24,000. We did a new theme this year, which was Just Dance, which we weren't quite sure, because last year we did the fun run, and we weren't sure if we'd have the same buy-in from what we had with them, the feedback that we got, that it was the third one done in the entire country. We're super excited about working
That's cool.
with us and having us on board. Brian was out there pretty much all day long. We might actually look for a new job over there. Because he was out there moving he was having Jay and Jay like move to a different part of the stage, and then they took the tent down. I don't know if you guys were there, but you could see how moving some of the equipment around, the students had a better experience. So Ryan was there kind of
Nice.
moving things around, but it was a great success. We were really excited about it. We did meet afterwards about what our plan was moving forward for next year, and that was a little bit up in the air. We found, even with, we were a little bit under our goal for this year, under what we raised last year. We had thought that maybe there might be a better way to plan out our fundraising. Because this is, we've done Boosterthon, and it's always been with and for the playground. But PTO does so much for us and so many different fundraisers, they thought that maybe they would consider dropping some of the smaller fundraisers and maybe stay with the Boosterthon as their one main fundraiser, aside from like book fairs and stuff. Because I think we had talked about maybe we give Boosterthon a break for next year. And they kind of panicked and went, no, we gotta keep going with it. So we were trying to see if maybe the time of year we could change, because in March, it really hits like, we hit kind of everything. We have conferences, which is when our book fair has always been. We hit spring pictures, we hit sports outside, so really the Boosterthon to come in that time of year is,
It's a good point.
It's kind of tough for families. So we had asked Boosterthon if they could push us to fall sometime, September, October, November timeframe. So that's still being worked out, but then there's that question, whereas we just did Boosterthon in March, and now we're already jumping back into it again in November or something. It's a great fundraiser. We really, I think people would like to keep it going. So, kind of hash it out.
So we're not taking the discount.
Kindergarten, as I said, we have parent orientation, it's just an information night on April 10th. So we have our teachers, Brian and I, we have our school psychologist, the nurse, Justin Council, just trying to give a little spiel, and we have one for the kindergartner, kind of answer questions.
Yeah.
Go from there. And we have the 11th, as I mentioned earlier, that is when our scheduling for screening goes live. Parents can log in and pick their times. We're screening on
I'm on vacation
the
anymore.
6th and 13th. And playground update. We have, we're getting there, moving closer. We have, we're just kind of finalizing logistics. We've talked with Steve Hayward over at the town to kind of help us out, clear some space down there. Talked to Sandy Nolan, we talked to Rob Piccirilli, we talked to Christine Healy, so we've got to talk to everybody. So we are getting closer. It sounds like we initially planned to kind of piggyback on Hops when they were doing it kind of in mid-April, but that doesn't seem to be planned. So we're looking into beginning, middle of May. We have design.
Can we see?
Pull it up. So, mind you, 3 men. We're looking at this design. So we can send it around.
Is it very
Oh, 4.
masculine or something? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, that's right.
It's all pull-up bars?
Well, they talked to, when we first looked at it, we kind of like the idea of
Actually, they
having
do better with the
school
younger.
color related. So we went with the red, black,
So,
silver kind of theme.
I like it.
Yeah.
So when we, some other people said, oh, put in some, it's different
It is
now.
very
Some people
masculine
don't.
looking,
It's masculine.
but I like it.
Yeah.
It is,
Shocker.
and we changed out the rubber, that before we had silver or gray for the rubber, so we changed that out and made that red. And black is only on the poles that are going up, so we're kind of excited about the way it came out.
Yeah, it looks good.
You can't see.
Basically, it's just a flip. It's a flip of what they have out there now. So the structure is on the far end. We're actually pulling the structure further this way towards the parking lot, and the swings are going down the far side. And then there'll be red rubber underneath the entire structure, and then connecting to each area. So it would be ADA compliant. And then we also had put in some tables and benches, the front entrance and then the far end. Sort of, it's neat, we're excited. I mean, the rubber is a big expense there, but we thought the more that we could put it there, instead of doing, because they told us the ADA compliant had to have like a path to each component out there, which by the time we did that, we figured, why can't we just do it all around the base of the structure? Which kind of played out all of us, so we were happy with it. And the students picked the design, so it was kind of, just you kind of pick the colors. That's what I did.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of boo-boos around midnight, that's probably.
Yes, yes. Think of the next color. We have our parent placement survey that actually goes out
I
today.
got it.
Okay. Does the link work? Because we make it as a Google form, and it's something that we've been doing for several years now, just kind of feedback for parents, placing their child. It's due back on the 15th, so it stays open. So we use that, once we get it in, we kind of sift through it and review it, the office does, and then we hand it out to teachers as they're making placement decisions for next year. So it's super helpful. You can't pick a teacher, but you can give us some feedback on what environment your child works best in. So. And we actually have a kind of busy month there, looking at upcoming dates. We have Title I Family Night, which is on the 4th, Thursday. We have kindergarten orientation on the 10th. We have vacation in there. And I think that Monday we're closed, that's the holiday, and then Friday is Good Friday.
Good Friday. Yeah, Patriots Day and Good Friday.
And then the 26th is HTA Family Night. So this is a little different twist. So it's normally what the HTA has done is always done the 6th grade basketball game. So they found that they're going to try something new this year in where they want to get all the families, K to 6, involved instead of just the 6th graders. So we're anticipating a pretty big event. They still will have the basketball game, but they're also doing like a movie. They're doing face painting. They have high schoolers coming down, bingo, and Lord knows what else they have. So it sounds like it will be a pretty wild and crazy thing. So the HTA is trying something different.
Cool.
That's it.
Awesome. Do you have anything to toss in there that he didn't cover? All right. Christine Healy.
Thank you. You have the financial impact package tonight, and we haven't heard much has happened since last November. We're progressing. We're just at we're in the last quarter of the year. A couple of deficits have grown slightly, but we're looking at our year-end balances just to make sure we've completed everything we expected to complete this year. See if there will be some funds available if an occasion does arise. But we seem to be doing pretty well right now. Nothing's changed significantly. And then I also wanted to mention that in your package tonight, you also have version 3 of the budget, which is the version that includes the bus that was forwarded to the town. So they do have that. And we have both the summary and detail in your package. And then as Joy had mentioned earlier, I did do the article for the town for the transfer of funds for the HVAC unit in the cafeteria. And that will be coming out of district vocational coming into our regular budget, so that we can take care of that out of the maintenance area. We have not finalized the amount yet, because as we had mentioned, Matt had an original estimate, and then when the second vendor came in, they kind of gave a different spin on it, that was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That might be a better way to go, so we're just trying to work that out to make sure that we're taking the best path we can. And that's it right now. Is there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a great meeting.
I know, it's fantastic. Sun is shining, we're cruising right along.
I talked to Jill about this earlier. We probably will hit.
It might still be light by the time we get out of here.
Oh, man, this is exciting.
Go ahead, Ms. Prue, you're up.
Alrighty, so the state opened its online restraint data collection tool at the end of February, and principals submit their restraint data annually to the state. The purpose of the restraint data collection is to make sure that our public education programs are free from the use of physical restraint that is inconsistent with the regulations, and to remind us, and we go over physical restraint training on an annual basis as well, to make sure that physical restraint is only used in emergency situations of last resort, and to make sure that the child or other members of the school community are safe and protected from harm. So, in addition, the FY19 Title IIA grant was amended to reflect additional funding. We spoke about this last year, how after the state sends out its original allocation, sometimes there's some shifting and some unclaimed funds, and so it doesn't usually result in a big win for us, but nonetheless, we like to claim that additional money, and we file an amendment to receive it. So an additional $589 was added. The new grant total would be $77,699 for this year. I have met with the elementary leadership team to review our current social and emotional learning practices across the district in our elementary schools. And the team decided that they felt it would be important to put together a task force that included our counselors and psychologists to think about our current programs and the age appropriateness of those programs. Think about determining expectations across our schools in terms of what would be reasonable for classroom teachers and who would be responsible for certain elements of the social emotional programming, and what, if any, training would be needed based upon our current inventory of social emotional learning programs that we currently have. Silver Lake was awarded a $600 grant to promote healthy eating habits and wellness in the workplace culture. And so that funding was used to buy healthy lunches from Elevate Fitness in Kingston during the 3-day professional development training for Understanding by Design. That training is primarily for high school faculty. However, we have 4 representatives from elementary schools, including Melissa Farrell, and several representatives from the middle school as well. The big push to start with the high school came from their NEASC review and the need to have a common curriculum template moving forward. So that's why teachers are being trained in this. And this is just one of many steps for what will be probably a 3 to 5 year process in terms of curriculum review and implementation using the backwards design approach. And then finally, the curriculum coordinators continued their social emotional learning in the classroom book review, and they just focused on ways to encourage student engagement, and they have a summary here of some of the things that we'll be working on in our elementary schools and in secondary departments. So, and the team also recommended that we continue to focus on 3 additional social emotional learning competencies next year as we continue our professional development training. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Make it snappy.
Got it. I'm going to talk fast like I'm from South Jersey, which I am. Okay, so you have before you the 1920 draft school calendar, and it is a first review. Okay, Bob? The calendar is set up as we have always set it up. There's just a couple things that I wanted to mention. We will start school for the students on August 28th. That's a really important day for parents to know. I know they often look forward to that by about the middle of July, from what I have seen from parents. So August 28th is our first day of school. We will have a first week of 3 days, that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The second week is a 4-day week, which is the Labor Day week, and then the third week is a 5-day week. We've always done it that way. I think it works really well. It's a nice transition, 3 days, 4 days, and 5 days, and that's always gone over well. One of the things that is different this calendar is that the town of Halifax, as well as the town of Kingston, asked us to please have professional development days on the voting day. We have had some difficulty with whenever there's any sort of a referendum item or there's a large turnout for a particular vote, where it is very difficult in the parking lots. The last vote, it also happened to be extremely rainy and a miserable day, so it was difficult to see. And it got a little scary out in the parking lot with lots of people coming through. So I did move what had previously been the Tuesday after Columbus Day weekend. So that will now be a full day of school. We've moved that to Tuesday, November 5th. I understand, thank you, Summer, that it is not necessarily a large voting day, but it still could turn out to be referendum items, which is what happened last time, which is part of why there was such a huge turnout. So that would be my current recommendation. I don't actually get a vote on this. It's food for thought, but again, I'm just trying to accommodate the town's requests. So the 5th would be an in-service day for teachers for us, no school for students. Veterans Day falls on Monday the 11th, so it's a little bit odd. There's 2 4-day weeks in a row there, then a full week, and then Thanksgiving. So November is going to be a broken up day, but it is what it is at this point. There's not much we can do about that. So Christmas falls on a Wednesday. So here's always the difficult decision. Do I drag children in on Monday, December 23rd, and I should add teachers? Personal preference, no thank you. So we would like to have that full week off plus the following 3 days. So it would be a long Christmas break. I believe most surrounding schools will also do that. We could technically have the students come in on the Monday, but I think it would be a pretty miserable day for all if we were to do that. So my personal recommendation...
Well, except for the parents.
The parents might appreciate it. I don't disagree with that, but I think it would be tough. But my recommendation would be to have that full time off. So it would be a longer Christmas break. And then... let's see, we have the February break, which is the 17th through the 21st. We did do a Monday PD day after that vacation week. No PD day is perfect, but I think that worked reasonably well. It got parents to get a little bit cheaper flights for those parents who are going away. They sort of like that overlap, and it worked out as a pretty good day for us for staff. Other than that, the calendar is pretty clear. We believe we have the right number of days in it. I think we've recognized all the holidays. I'm not looking for a vote at this time. I just wanted you to see the calendar to see if you had any questions or concerns for the calendar. We never approved the calendar, until after all the elections, because we change who's on the top.
Oh, right.
Of the calendar. So, but at this point, this is our draft. If you have any recommendations, concerns, changes you'd like to see, let me know. But at this point, this is our first attempt at it, if that makes sense.
Yep. Bob, you're still on here.
Okay. The second thing that I have is the draft meeting schedule. So last year, we tried the 6-week schedule. And I think it took a little while for actually us to adjust to it, to be honest with you. We are incredible creatures of habits. That's just the way life is. But it worked out fine. Gordon was fantastic about coming in to sign signature warrants. With Gordon not on here, I might need to call on someone else to come in. That's the only thing that does change a little bit. But the 6 weeks in the fall, and then every month during budget season, and then coming up in May and June, we went back to the 6 weeks. It was a little bit easier. The 6 o'clock time has worked well. It's still light out, if that's still okay with the committee. And, you know, if you're comfortable with this as a trial year, this schedule is based on the exact same setup. If you would like to go back to every month, just let me know. But that's what this is based on.
I mean, I
at
really
this
miss
point.
you guys.
I do
What
too.
about the uproar from the parents?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, they're overwhelming here. Yeah. But again, this is just a rough draft. The good news is we don't have a school committee meeting on Valentine's Day next year. That was really a very special, fun evening. So again, this is just a draft, just a first for distribution. So in terms of an update on the building project, I actually have not had any meetings or have heard nothing. Have you?
I haven't heard anything either. Have you? Did they find my shades?
Yeah.
I want the shades.
So we have a bid that has been accepted, I believe, on the sprinkler system.
Really?
Yes, to my knowledge, I believe that to be true, that there is a bid that was accepted.
There was a bid that was accepted, and that was the number that was voted.
And that was the number that was voted at town meeting.
Whether or not they signed the
Right.
contract is another.
Okay.
So the question or what I had asked or offered, I have not heard anything that has happened. I believe it's going to be exceptionally tight to get this project done in between. We have April vacation coming up. I had mentioned to the town if there was anything that we could do during that week as prep. I mean, we have a week when there's not kids in school.
Yeah.
I have not heard anything back. I believe they were going to, when we were walking the building, they were going to approach, but I've heard nothing. So I just wanted to let you know if there's anything at all that we can do as a building. We're interested, because I'd like to be able to go to school next year.
Oh, yeah, like on time, maybe?
Yeah.
What's up, Kane?
We got an email today from Berkman, who's
Okay.
the project manager.
Oh, excellent, okay.
He's requesting to come in the 16th or the 17th of the break.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
That's a familiarity walkthrough. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. So maybe reply and ask if there's anything that maybe we could do to help them along?
Matt already jumped in and he
I'm sure he
said
did.
that
Okay.
he's looking for, he's bringing in several subcontractors during
Okay.
those 2 days.
All right,
I don't
excellent.
know, once we hear
Okay.
back from him.
Excellent.
He just kind of reached out to us, kind of, let's see who's going to. All
I wasn't on it.
I don't think I got it.
You only get one every other or every third email
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're all listed on.
Yep.
All J.
Don't know.
How about Lambrian, getting the rest of the stuff out of here?
I
Any update on
probably
that?
won't ask him public time.
No, I'm not.
I know that there's still a door there.
Door
Leave it
there,
alone, can
Yeah.
you?
door
You're making my eyes
Yeah.
twitch, Gordon.
There's still some things left on a punch list, as far as I know. I do not believe it's been signed off by the town.
I,
No.
The one that was gonna be done over February break?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
just one thing to look out for, that when the fire suppression container material comes in, that they work with you and Matt to make sure if Lambrian stuff is in here, that they don't mess up your parent pickup drop off your end.
But, hey, Lambrian has to get his stuff out of here before that. There's gotta be something in the
We've
contract.
been asking them to get rid of it, because now, like, the windows are, the doors are just leaned up against the side of the container unit down there. We have people coming over asking us, can they take them away? And they're like, one blew over, one of those windy days, so we're trying to just get it out. But it says, there was an email that they're asking to come over the break.
Lambrian?
Yes. Or it's Eric from MDCOM, so I'm assuming it's probably for the,
They're gonna remeasure the doors again and get it back to us in 19 weeks?
so Marty has it, he's on, he'll be there. But I think that's why the trailer's still there. because they're still finishing the
Got
project.
the rain popping in the forehead.
That's as much as we know, which is more than I knew. I have not been on any emails. So the Finance Committee sent a note to Gordon and Summer.
But not to Joy.
Not to me. So if you'd like, I could read that? Sure. Okay. And this is from Melinda Tarsi, who is the chair of the Finance Committee. I hope you are doing well. Apologies for the delay in reaching out to you both. Well, I don't know that. As your liaison, I just wanted to reach out to let you know that FinCom voted to recommend your HES budget amount less the cost of the half bus that was added to version 2 of the budget. Overall, the committee was in support of the entire budget, but we're looking for more data on the bus purchase regarding ability to fix the current transportation issues before voting to recommend a budget with that amount added. We discussed this at our meeting on Monday, 3/25, but she didn't think the tape was out yet. They also haven't held their full discussion on the budget, which will be Monday night, but again, she wanted to be in contact with us. So I believe what she's indicating is she voted to support version 2 of the budget minus the cost of the bus. Just to clarify, they can vote a number, but they cannot determine, that's your vote, what is taken out of the budget. So they can vote the budget minus 30,000. You as school committee have line item autonomy. If you wanted to meet their number, you could reduce it by that amount, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the bus. That's always been sort of the topic of discussion in town. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, Gordon was kind enough to forward it to me. I don't know any other details to share with you on that. The one thing I did want to let you know, though, and this is happening in real time, we found this out Friday afternoon, and it was just confirmed today, that Marie Grable, our Director of Special Education, applied for extraordinary relief. And what that is that circuit breaker, and that means if a child moves in and costs way more money to meet their needs than was budgeted for. So if somebody moves into town, and you have to meet their needs in a placement, but you hadn't budgeted for it, it's something called extraordinary relief. It's a lot of paperwork. I know you're surprised getting money from the state, paperwork, you would never think that would be true. Good news is she was successful. She applied. We believe we're going to get $100,000 that we had not anticipated getting. We believe we'll be getting that this school year because it's for this school year. So we believe, and again, you'll notice there's a lot of believes because it's the state. Okay, so I can't make any guarantees, but this is, Christine, and my understanding, correct me when I'm misstep here. We believe the money will be coming towards the end of May.
Between April and May.
Between April and May. And that it will be approximately $100,000. Now, we don't have anything like in writing in blood that they say this is so, but we believe we're going to get $100,000. That money will be able to go back to the town. Okay?
Yeah, but
For this fiscal year.
For Halifax?
For Halifax,
So
just for Halifax
She
students.
just applied for Halifax?
Yes, it's a Halifax student. We've had some changes in placements, which happens all the time, and you have to meet a threshold to qualify for extraordinary relief, and we made that threshold. So it's $100,000. It will be this fiscal year. That what I
It's
have.
a payback from this year.
Exactly.
This current year.
It's right. And it will have to be expended by this year. Since we don't anticipate needing to expend that amount, we believe, if this check comes in, that we'll be returning $100,000 to the town, which I assume would make the town pretty happy. Which, this is the first they're hearing of it, by the way. I wanted you to hear it first. We just confirmed today, Christine called the state, when the check is due, and that it has to be expended this fiscal year. So we just got the call back this afternoon.
so where in our budget do we have a deficit that would?
We don't.
We don't. If you look in your financial under special education tuition, there is currently a surplus. And our hope is that we would ask the town to allow us to move some of that to offset the deficit in special ed transportation and offset the deficit in contracted services in special education. We would still have a small surplus. This will end up being in addition to that because we have to spend it during this year.
I'm surprised that the state approved extraordinary relief when we're showing surplus.
They don't see this.
Extraordinary relief is a per
They don't see
student
this.
basis, so you request this based on individual students. So we
Right.
can't say, oh,
I
we're
got you.
doing awesome in 95% of our population, but we have 2 students that we have a particular situation with.
Exactly.
So it's per student that you submit this information, by,
Okay.
and that's how
I
we're
got you.
able to get that funding.
Question on the warrant article that you submitted.
Yes.
How did you phrase that?
How did I phrase it?
It's too bad, it's too bad that they're giving it to us so late in this
know.
fiscal year and
Yeah.
not at the beginning of the next fiscal year, so then we could like help our budget along next year.
Exactly.
Theoretically, it's because you had a situation this year that's developed.
Right, right,
Exactly.
right.
That's
I
the
mean,
extraordinary
I
part.
understand,
Right.
but it's just
Yeah, no,
unfortunate.
it
Because now
is.
I feel like we're just,
Well, the money's going back to the town, which
Yeah, but-
makes it eligible for them to have for next year's budget.
Right.
So, I mean, if
So
you
the
want to think of
100,
it that.
so the money we're getting,
because they're gonna give it back to the elementary school.
No, not even, no.
All right, the article, to see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds, line 74 vocational education, voted last May, to line 73 elementary education, for the purpose of replacing the HVAC unit in the cafeteria at Halifax Elementary School. I try to be as concise and,
They'll change it anyway,
Yeah, that's
but it's, yeah.
Gordon's like, we're gonna take a shell over here, and a cup over there.
Yeah. So again, you know, this, I can't guarantee this is happening, but we do believe, based on information we received Friday, and Christine confirmed this afternoon with the Department of Education, that this is for real. It will be about 100 to 110,000. We believe it will be coming between the end of April, the end of May. We will not need to access it because, again, you know, one of the things that I know it may seem funny, but we're really very cautious and conservative with our budgeting and very, very careful. So, you know, if we weren't like that, we would need that. But, you know, we really are trying to be very conscientious. So I'm happy for the town. I can't imagine they wouldn't be happy to receive this
Right.
check. I don't know if they will be supportive of the warrant article. This may help them to feel a little more supportive. If they needed money in the town for other things, I would think it may be helpful. I don't know. But I did just want to let you know that that is happening.
Is it fair to assume that we know for sure by May 13th?
No.
Okay.
They,
So you don't know until the check shows up?
exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Welcome to our world.
Until it cashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you talked to them again, or you talked to
She
them,
talked to him today.
and they said it's kind
It's
of.
too bad we couldn't
they're
use it to
saying
like
the
help set up a
expectations
program
once we
here in
distribute it
Halifax.
to the end of April and May.
Because that initial
And that, yes, we
cost
do need
is
to make use of those funds this year.
extraordinary.
Which we will do, so then that will
Expense.
create a greater surplus in our tuition line.
On the
Silver Lake?
Yeah.
Pack.
collaborative that's renting the room,
Mm-hmm.
what was the startup money needed to start a special program here within the elementary school to have something funded here?
There's no planning, there's no work that's been done. I
Okay.
can't give you a quote on that. You know, that's something we have an excellent director of special education, so I try not to step in too many holes. That's what I'm
I thought when you were like, Marie Grable applied, I thought you were going to tell us that she was leaving.
Oh, no,
I was like,
No. Yeah. So I don't know that at this point. There is no plan to begin a program here. At this point, I'm not saying there may not be down the road. It is an absolutely great room.
Well, I just know that the startup
Yeah.
money to start the program, and we've talked about that, so.
Oh, this money, if this was available?
Yeah, if you could use it to jumpstart that program and then lower the cost. for
I don't
this
know that
year.
we could, because it would have to be expended this year. And most all the program's money is the staff salary. There's not usually material. It's almost all salary.
Gotcha.
It's specialized staff members,
which we would never want to use
you know.
something like this for staff.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying for staff, but talked before about startup costs
Yeah,
for
right. Yeah.
materials and setting up the room and stuff.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's really creative. I love it, but I don't think it's possible.
Okay.
But it's good. It's very good. So that's sort of the unusual part. So my question to you is, we voted a budget with the amount inclusive of the bus. The town has indicated they are not supportive of that number. Do you wish to go forward with the number that was voted? Or do you wish to, and I'm not urging either way, trust me on this one, I'm just basing it on the email. So at this point, we have a version 2 of the budget that's inclusive of the bus. I do not believe the town would be supportive of trying to do it as a warrant article, which had been the original one, because I've done a warrant article on a position for Silver Lake that didn't go over too well. So I don't believe that would bode well within town. So I think if the committee is still supportive of the bus, having it within the budget makes sense. So just opening up for discussion.
Is there any way you could talk with the bus company to see what changes in routes and length of time on bus would be for adding the 10th?
Didn't they say that it would not change the?
They couldn't guarantee.
Oh.
And they are looking at that, because we've gone back to the routes when we did have the additional bus. So they are looking at that to see if there'd be any, if there'd be any improvement from that.
They said it would lessen the number of kids on each
Right.
bus.
Exactly.
But it
couldn't
may not,
guarantee.
right, it's
It
still
may or may not
Right.
change the length of
I
bus.
just definitely need to talk to the bus companies. Kate and I are buying buses,
Still doing that.
and it's.
It's the best part of their day.
Today,
Yeah.
and I got, the last person was dropped off at, yeah, 55 minutes, so I didn't get back to the school till 10:04, yeah.
Are they still, how long are they sitting out front for? Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's
then
got
we
it,
ride
that's
bus
got
at 21, we ride that one, and it's 25 to 30, so.
So something's gonna, yeah.
So is there are there a lot of kids at stops?
It's going way over towards Pembroke, and it's going down Brandeis, which is a pretty big development. and
But it
stops.
starts by going down Oak.
Yeah, it's just,
Goes down Oak, and then keeps going, and then reverses and goes back towards Brandeis.
we like to meet with the bus company, we look at the routes all the time.
Well, I know that there's 3 buses that go down Old Plymouth Street and converge in different directions. Old Plymouth Street is right off of 106, and you can't imagine that you would have 3 buses hit that section.
I think we have 4 on Thompson Street, 4 buses.
What?
Can you say, keep in mind that sometimes the routes have to be adjusted because there are daycare providers. So
Oh,
it's only just
right.
with 1 student or 2 students, and maybe
Yeah.
we have 12 students.
Well, it's,
So
yeah,
the
the
buses have-
25 versus 55 minute
Had to
rule.
accommodate those
It just,
realities.
I think if you had some data from the bus company, I would more than willing stand up at town meeting and say, we've been talking about buses from the very first meeting that I got elected onto this committee. I think it's needed, I think it's warranted, and the issue that we had was the $65,000 and trying to stay within, as close to the budget as possible. When we found out the bus was the half bus, I mean, that's what changed my mind about putting it in, was the half the cost.
So could I make a suggestion? If I were to arrange a meeting with the bus company, and anybody who was interested in attending, and we could hold it here?
Yes.
Does that work?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I just can't, I have a hard time getting behind a number when you can't guarantee the routes are gonna be shorter. You can't guarantee they're not gonna be sitting out front for 15 minutes. You can't guarantee, it's just,
I think
the issues that have been brought to our attention are not being solved or promised to be solved with this money. That's my fundamental issue. Yeah, I agree with you. If the bus company could say, yes, if you add this bus, we guarantee a 48-minute average minute ride will be reduced to 34 minutes, great. But I'd also like to know, why do the routes start, why do my kids get picked up at 7:25 if they're gonna sit out here and cause mayhem for 15 minutes?
I think that is, I think that's a separate issue versus the number of kids.
No, I agree.
Buses.
I agree.
But I agree with you that they shouldn't be sitting out here for 15 minutes, because that's when you're gonna have behavior issues on the buses.
I just can't get behind spending that much money when we cannot be told or guaranteed that it's going to solve the issues that have been brought to our attention.
So when I met with the bus company and tried to pin them down, their concern, and it's an understandable, legitimate one, is if they add a bus, does that mean that a lot of the parents who do drop-offs will now be riding the bus? So that could change the amount of time. So they can't guarantee that suddenly, 50 kids that are out there now being driven won't suddenly be riding the buses, which would add time. So maybe if you save 10 minutes, you may lose that in the additional stops you have to do. So I don't think you can make a guarantee per se, but I think every question you're asking are good ones. And I don't have any problem at all trying to bring them in. So do you mind if we try and set it one now? Rather than do it? Is there a day or time of week that would work for people? And I'll try to get them done? Not Wednesdays, okay. And when are you done? May something? So we have to do this.
May, yeah.
Not Wednesday, that's the only day I have nothing.
Well, if it's during, if
Can we
Alright,
do it
no,
during
it's
the
fine,
day?
it's
Can we
fine.
do
it's
it?
during the day,
Right. Alex, your schedule isn't that flexible though, right? You'd like to be there
As
probably?
long as we're a couple weeks out, should be okay.
Okay.
Like, what time during the day are we talking here?
I don't know, I'd have to call the bus company, but what works for you?
just the only time that I'm tied up is school committee for Silver Lake and after 6 o'clock
Okay.
on Wednesdays.
And obviously, vacation week's out.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I should say, obviously, I can't do it. I'm away for vacation week.
How about if we were to do, would Wednesday, the 24th in the morning, like first thing in the morning, be possible?
I could do first thing.
First thing? What time is first thing for you? No, I'm just asking.
Like,
5.
done by 11.
Oh, okay. If we were to meet here at, say, would the kids be
9?
sort of settled like 9? If we were to say 9 o'clock? Does that work?
That'd be perfect.
Okay. All right, so I will reach, what's that?
It wouldn't be both of us because it's when we carry on MCAS.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Maybe that's not a good idea.
Then we don't have to.
I mean, we can carry it up.
Okay.
As long as-
There's really no time that we're not going to be in MCAS
Right. That's why I
after
was-
this, yeah. Okay. Why don't we try Wednesday, the 24th at 9? Unless you want to try the 10th at 9. I could also do the 10th at 9, if you want to do it before vacation week, which is before MCAS.
I would prefer the 10th if possible.
You prefer the 10th?
Yeah, let's do it the 10th, because then
Okay.
if we need to have a discussion about it and
Okay.
do some thinking and
I
brainstorming.
can't guarantee the bus company's
Can
available.
we try for the 10th with back
Absolutely.
24th?
Yep, we'll do that. So I will reach out and I will let you know.
Great.
And I'll invite everyone, and then whoever is available can come. So we'll try the 10th or the 24th at 9 here.
Thanks, Troy.
Okay?
Does
Does
your
that work for you,
schedule
Kane and Brian?
Yeah, before, it's after the sun comes up, before afternoon though.
It's definitely on.
Okay, excellent.
So Bob won't be at that meeting, and Allison, obviously, you'll be teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Sure. There we go. So at this point, you want to leave the budget as is until we have the bus company?
I would.
I'm fine with
Yep,
it.
okay.
If the
Okay,
rest of the committee is okay with that.
that works. And again, we'll have Christine forward the information to the town about the potential extraordinary relief to Sandy and Charlie, and should we let them know?
That was one of my questions. Do we want to let them know that there will be a balance and that perhaps they can use the other? The other flip side is that if the money doesn't get into July,
As long as we use the word supposedly all throughout it.
it may be.
It may be,
It may
and
be,
possibly,
yes.
and perhaps, and
Right. And then the only other thing I had was I just wanted to thank Lori, who will be leaving us as secretary. I'm sad to say, you've been with us 2 years, 3 years? I've lost track.
more than that.
Yeah, it's been a while. So this is her last meeting. She was kind enough to come one last time, so thank you for all your efforts. We really appreciate it, Lori. Yes.
Do have one update for the calendar. I texted the town clerk.
Yep.
There is no election this fall.
So
November.
so there's no...
There's no federal
Yeah.
election.
Okay, so does that mean there will be no referendum also? Because that was part of what...
Well, there's
there
no
was-
state either, because the governor's not up.
Yeah.
There's no state reps up. There's no
But do they
Senate of.
use it if there are issues?
Oh, you mean
with-
like a question, 1, 2, 3, 4?
Which is what happened with the nurses, which is why there were so many people that came out. It wasn't the elections that were the big call, it was the 3 articles. It was the 3 questions.
Usually those have to be,
Soon,
they have to be
spring.
working on them now.
Yeah, signatures are being collected now.
I don't think that, I mean, Barbara said there's no election that day.
Okay.
So,
I'm
I mean,
fine to move it
I'll-
back to the October. You know, that's certainly
Does
an
it,
easy.
does it make it easier? I'm just saying,
The only thing we're
There's no
doing is we're in the
election.
process of planning PD. So that's, you know, that's really the
but if it
key.
gets it into that cycle, that's good too. I just-
Right.
I was just gonna say,
Right,
right,
why
we
not?
were gonna do
Yeah.
it anyway,
Right.
So maybe just start it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, both Halifax wrote a formal request, well, an email. Kingston wasn't quite so formal, but I know that the police had mentioned that it was a bit of a zoo. So it was, it was definitely very busy.
I think, well, we lost a lot of parking too.
Yes,
Which didn't help
And
any.
then by leaving it, it'll cover us in case something does happen. and
Right.
There
I
are some
think we
questions
should
or
leave it.
something comes
yeah,
up.
okay. All right, so at this point, I'll leave it, but if anybody has any other suggestions, thank you for checking on that, Gordon. Thank you, that's all I had.
Thanks,
Okay.
Joey.
Couple of dates to remember before we adjourn. Spring vacation, April 15th to 19th, obviously there's no school. The town meeting in Halifax is May 13th, 7:30? 7:30. Are we meeting at 6 for our school committee meeting prior?
If that's okay?
Yep, that's fine. And then the town elections are May 18th. And that's all I have. So we're going to meet at 6 for our school committee meeting, and then town meeting's at 7:30.
Is that 7:30? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was at 6:30. Okay, 6 and then 6. Okay.
Do it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent, thank you.
It's still light out. Yay! We did it.